Alright, so just a quick recap on right angle trig. Only works for right angle triangles, clearly. Remember this little symbol? This is called theta. Okay, and we need to label our triangle with our three sides. The easiest one is to locate the ones opposite your right angle, which is the hypotenuse, and then look at the angle that you are in question, like that you are focused on. In our case, it's our theta, and so opposite that, that's called the opposite side, and the leftover side, that's called our adjacent. Okay, if you can label the sides of the triangle, that's 90% of trig done. Oh, let's say 50%. Okay, so we've got H, as we just said before, that's the one that's going to be opposite the right angle. You can see that the theta is labeled there, which, oh, sorry, did the other triangle. So that's also your hypotenuse. Now let's label the opposite. So I go for, look at the angle, bang, that's your opposite. Look at the green triangle now, there's your theta, so bang, there's your opposite. And last but not least, here's the adjacent, and it's just the poor old side that is left over. Poor little adjacent. Right, once you've done that, all is good. I hope you remember your three trig functions. We've got sine, not sin, but it's sine. There it is, same sort of spot on your graphics calculator. And then cos is for cosine and tan is for tangent. SOHCAHTOA might help some people remember the three rules. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. Later on in the topic, we'll actually have a look at why that is so. But anyway, I would say there are only three possible examples for trigonometry, and it's not sine, cosine, and tangent. It's about where your unknown is. So let's look at example number 1. And if you follow these steps, easy as. So first thing we do is we're going to label the sides. So we just did that before. Here's our right angle, that's our hypotenuse. There's our angle in question, so there's the opposite, and the leftover side is the adjacent. Now we have to say, what is the useful information? And just go back there. The adjacent side, it's got no information on it, so no measurement, and we don't want to know what it is, so I'm going to get rid of it. Goodbye. What rule does that leave us with? O over H, so that is your sine rule. That's the only rule that uses O and H. So now sub your information in. Theta is the 48, O is your X, and H is your 23. So you've got to make sure you put them where they go. Don't just go random, oh, just make X anything. O is the opposite. And now this becomes algebra to solve. So to get X by itself, to get rid of a divide by 23, we're going to times by 23. So technically you're timesing by both sides, and now on this side, this 23 cancels out with that one. That's the whole reason we times by 23. So we're left with X equals 23 times sine 48. So off on your calculator, pop that in, and you should get 17.09. So please just go and check that. So this one, it's when the unknown is upstairs. Let's have a look at the second example. So once again, we don't know it's a second form of an example until we label and choose the rule and then sub. So here we go. Oh, hypotenuse, we've got it. Look at that. Once again, it's the opposite. Adjacent at the side, but same situation. There's no information and we don't want to know the adjacent side here, right? Nothing is there. So goodbye, we're getting rid of the adjacent. Once again, we're left with the sine rule. So you think, well, hang on, how is this example number 2? Well, here it comes. When we put our information in, substitute information, the angle, that's theta. Your opposite side now, that's 14. It's not X, it's 14. The X is your hypotenuse. So notice my unknown is now at the bottom. It's downstairs. So this step, I'm just showing you for the algebra, but I never include it. To get rid of that divide by X, you times by X. So that's gone, because that's the whole reason again that we times by X, so they will cancel. And so we've now got X times sine 27 equals 14. And so to get rid of this times sine 27, we divide. Right, oops, there we go. And so that's why it ends up, so I don't have any of this. I never put that in there. When it comes to this step, right, I haven't got that, and I just say switch. When the unknown is at the bottom, do the switcheroo. Okay, so get rid of that. So I go from this step straight down to there, and then calculator, check. So far we've got an example where the unknown was upstairs. You solve that a particular way. Get rid of the divide, you times. When the unknown is downstairs, you do the switcheroo. Okay. Example 3. This is when you're not finding a length, you're actually finding the angle. But once again, guess what? It's the same process. Label the sides. There's your right angle, so hypotenuse. The angle you're looking at is over here, so directly opposite it, that's your opposite side, and so left over is your adjacent. This time it's the hypotenuse where there's no information and we don't want to find the hypotenuse. So goodbye to the hypotenuse. That leaves us with O and A. So that's tan. Sub in your information, and this time to get rid of tan, we're going to say tan to the -1. That's called the inverse of tan, and if you look at your calculator, it's right above your tan button. It'll be in yellow, so press Shift Tan and then pop your information in, and there you go. So that's your trig, how to use your 3 trig rules in a nutshell for right angle. Now let's look at the next video and we can pop them into practice, into practical situations.